So after you watched Liverpool win in the early game, you then watched Arsenal win. Were you impressed by the Gunners today?
Not particularly. I think it was a typical, in my opinion, Arsenal performance. You know, they had the ball. West Ham did sit back and let them have it, but they really didn't do an awful lot with it. And quite frankly, if West Ham United had somebody up front who actually knew their way around the penalty box and knew where the net was, then Arsenal, in my opinion, would have lost this game. Antonio, I mean, they had a 2v1 situation early in the first half, and Antonio had no idea. He looked as though he had no idea what to try and do. He ends up playing a horrible pass behind Haller, who actually had made a horrible run, and then they started arguing between each other whose fault it was. I mean, the two of them, if they're your spearhead to get out of relegation, you're in a bit of trouble.
What's missing from Arsenal this season?
Well, I honestly don't think that their midfield has anything other than average players. They're not particularly solid at the back. Pablo Mari started. Wasn't bad, wasn't good. You know, considering the chances that West Ham had, he didn't make much of a difference either way. So, yes, Aubameyang's good. Some of the younger players are exciting, but they're prospects. And of course, you got Lacazette on the bench again. I mean, listen, if he's not out the door at the end of the season, whether it's Arteta letting him go or him fighting his way out it, I'll be shocked. So, listen, the quality's not there. So, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do we keep thinking of Arsenal as being Arsenal of 20 years ago under Wenger? Because that's kind of how, every week we sit here and say, well, what about Arsenal this week? What about Arsenal this week? They've shown us that they're a mid-table side. Those heady days are over. Right now, they're a mid-table side, and they don't look as though they're getting out the mid-table. So we should be dropping the standards when we start talking about Arsenal. You know, Arsenal to go away, in my opinion, somewhere and get a draw should be a solid result for a mid-table team. But we don't talk about them like that.
But the wages they pay players, Ozil and Aubameyang, they've got top talent there. Should they not be better than they are with the players they've got, certainly middle to front?
No, because in the middle of the park, it's average Premier League players. You know, Xhaka's an average Premier League player. Guendouzi, still young, but he's an average Premier League player. They lost Herrera with injury. He's an average Premier League. I mean, I can go down the list. They've got a lot of decent, average Premier League players, apart from a couple of guys up front.
No complaints with the goal? I know initially it was not going to stand, and then it did, rightly so?
Yes, I thought it was a goal, yeah. Ozil's onside, and you saw Ozil. You saw the brain of a football player.
Yeah.
Because most people would have tried to score themselves, but Ozil knew Lacazette was there, knew that was the right thing to do, and made it look simple.
Job done for Arsenal, but as Stevie said, if West Ham had someone up front that could score goals, it might have been a different story.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.